And teaching them the difference between I had a failure and I am a failure.
Exactly.
Because when we fail, most people that succeed, they're building their success on a mountaintop of failures.
Well, great to hear from Dr. Mike on the beach with some interesting insights about everybody gets a trophy. We're in the kitchen with our kitchen couples, of course, Dan and Danielle, and Mike and Diane. So this is a bit of a controversial maybe topic for some parents as they think, now what do I really think about that? And it gives some food for thought for parents. But I saw this quote posted on social media the other day, and it says, if you raise your kids right, you can spoil your grandkids. But if you spoil your kids, you'll probably end up raising your grandkids. Wow. Interesting thought there, right?
Wow.
Okay.
That makes you think, doesn't it?
Part of raising your kids right is helping them teach them how to learn to deal with disappointment in their life. And sometimes, you know, it's losing a game. Sometimes it could be anything, not doing well at a test in school. So,
I mean, we want,
controversial.
as parents, we want to protect our kids. You know, we don't want them to experience anything negative that they don't have to experience.
Right.
But what I hear Dr. Mike saying is sometimes those negative feelings are good for them. It helps build character. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, in a safe, protected way is what we're saying. Like, allow them to experience some things. Absolutely. You know, our lives are not going to go perfectly. There's going to be disappointments across the board, and that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. God allows us to walk through things. There are some things that we can only learn through suffering in life. We sell people a bag of goods when we tell them that the Christian life is without suffering. Jesus said, in this world, you're going to have trouble, but take heart because I've overcome it. So you're going to have trouble, but stick with me because I've overcome it. And there are some things that we only learn through suffering, that God uses suffering. He takes what Satan intended for evil and he turns it for good. He uses it for good in our life. He teaches us something. And there's some things that we only learn in the dark, where we have to remember what he's told us in the light, and then we have to stay close enough to him in the dark to be able to hear his voice through it. But if our expectation is that we don't have to go through dark anything, then we're in for a rude awakening. And that's what he was saying. He's like, some of these kids who have been just they're in a bubble their whole life, you know, you come out of that bubble and suddenly, you know, the common cold kills you. Remember that movie War of the Worlds, right? The aliens invaded and the everyday influenzas that we'd all become used to and that we've lived with on this earth, we're fine with, but it killed the aliens because they had no exposure to it.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Sorry, if you've never seen War of the Worlds. But and the same thing. If we don't have any negative experiences, you know, we're not allowed to experience disappointment. When we walk out into the world, we're in for a rude awakening.
And I think as moms, I don't know if you are the same, but we do kind of want to bubble wrap our kids and prevent them from going through the tough stuff. And I know this past couple years, our world has gone through so much, and there's been so much that I cannot protect them from. And, you know, it's hard to hear kids will be resilient and all of that, but, you know, we want to protect them. But overall, aside from that, I feel like entitlement has kind of crept up in kids. And I've seen that in my own kids, and I feel like a good, you know, a good balance to that is less screen time, more chore time. And, you know, there was a time when I was like, why are they like this? Why? We even saw it with more screen time. They would think, you know, I deserve this and I should have that. And I actually was listening to a psychologist talk about YouTube, and that's kind of the new thing now. Our kids don't even watch TV. They watch YouTube. And she was actually talking about what YouTube does to the brain. So if you can picture a screen, the YouTube page, there's always kind of like a little, a place to scroll here with another new video and the next thing and the next thing. And what it is doing is teaching our kids that whatever I want, I can have it next,
endless choices.
Right now. And so when you go to put the meal on the table at dinner time and there's one choice, they go, well, I don't want that.
Right.
You know, and so we have to guard them from this type of thing. We have to be careful and be on it, because we don't want entitlement creeping into our kids to think, you know, I can have whatever I want when I want. Yeah.
Good point.
That's really good.
Early on, we actually talked about this, both growing up in modest circumstances at best, and we asked ourselves, would our kids struggle enough to be successful, right? And this is a topic that came up many times, certainly more than once, and we often talk through that. You know, our kids have turned out pretty good, and when we speak to this, I think there are a lot of real truths. Yes, they do need to experience the scope of things. However, on a one-off basis, on an individual basis, we ask, is one thing, you know, is the kid who wins the trophy, right? Different from the guy who loses the trophy. Yeah, the guy who lost knows he lost, right? The guy who lost doesn't play on to the next round, right? And I guess that was the championship game, so it was only one more, right? But being able to this gives us a chance to speak through these situations as well, because it doesn't stop with the trophy. The key is parenting continues, right? And that is, you know, to say that, hey, listen, you guys played really hard and you lost the game, but you gave it your best, you tried your hardest, right? But, you know, next time, right, these are some things that, you know, if you can kind of talk it through, or maybe it's the coach who talks it through, to speak of how we improve, how do we get better, how do we get the better result. So I don't like absolutes, right? Because in any situation like that trophy, there's a young person there who's going to be very successful in the arts, and is not as competitive as his son, as Mike's son is, and so that kid is going to remember that trophy he got, right, when he was a kid, and he's gonna tell his kid that he got this trophy at this game where they played this marvelous game, and where the guy who, well, is a really sports guy and really adept at it, and really, you know, that trophy is going to be long gone by that time. So we're all a little bit different, so different things for different people. So, but just keep in mind, yes, struggle does give us strength.
Amen.
That's good.
And it's important for a child to not, if say they lose a game, but to not take it personally, that they personally are a loser in life. You know, they try to extrapolate that beyond the game. And so how do you, you know, explain that, instill that you know, you didn't win this game, you lost that, but you got so much going for you. You know, you're a wonderful kid. You do this and that, and you're great in these other areas, and don't let that get you down. You know, you have a strong foundation under you of support from mom and dad. You know, hopefully you know God, you know, in your heart, and you have that type of foundation as well. We can help our children to have, and so that they don't. They learn to deal with disappointment. You know, maybe we have to teach them the first few times about that, and then they get to the point where they get disappointed and they can self-regulate, as Dr. Mike was saying. They can do that on their own. They get to the point of saying, okay, yeah, I'm upset, I'm disappointed, but you know what? You know, God's still good. I still have, you know, loving parents. I'm still good in these other areas, and it's not something, I'm not personally a loser at life. You know,
Yeah, it's not denying that you lost, but it's pointing out that that's not the be-all and end-all defining factor of your life.
Exactly, and to allow them to experience the loss, because we all experience loss at one time or another in our lives, many times throughout our lives, but to be that safety net for them. They know where they can go when they're feeling low, when they're feeling horrible. Come on, no, come over here. No, we love you and you're good, and you know, just build them up.
Right.
And that's our job as parents.
And teaching them the difference between I had a failure and I am a failure.
Exactly.
Because when we fail, most people that succeed, they're building their success on a mountaintop of failures. They have failed, they have
1000%.
not succeeded, and they've learned to get up and move on. It's not how you fall down, it's how you get back up.
Michael Jordan himself said, 26 times the game-winning shot has been trusted to me and I've missed. And he talked about the number of games he lost, and he says, in fact, I've lost, I've failed over and over and over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a good note to end
stuff.
on.
For sure.
Really good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. Stay with us. More Better Us coming up. Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here on our A Better Us YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage even better.
Right. And you can see just a few options we think you might like here and here. So keep exploring.
Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way all the time.